No, I'm good.
All right, this is Dr. Megan Miller,
And this is Joe Smith.
and we're here for We'll Decide Wednesday, aka the Do Better podcast right now, since we don't have time to meet to record.
For
So,
Christmas.
yeah, I'm going to go ahead and spin our wheel.
I'm so excited about this wheel, though.
Oh, trauma.
This is gonna.
It's a nice heavy one for tonight. Okay.
Yeah.
So we talked about this already. Joe's gonna go first because I'm gonna work on sharing our feed. So Joe, you have 2 minutes and 30 seconds to talk about trauma, and anyone else who's watching that would like to share, feel free to do so.
All right, and I'm gonna set my timer. This is such a heavy topic too, but I feel it's like something that we have to continue to talk about and find out where in our field it has a place. I feel like it's definitely one of those trending topics that is popular, but it's not going to go away. Is here to stay, and people are becoming more aware of that people do have trauma and that is significant and it affects their everyday life. And it just doesn't affect um, someone that has um, issues in the past. I mean, it doesn't affect just like kids who have disability, but it also affects everyday individuals that experience something traumatic in their past. Um, I think like in our field, like where we can go, I mean, do better is that we can be more open to having training to talk about trauma informed therapy, or how we can best implement programming while also being aware of our clients' past traumas. Um, and I think that it does have a place in our field for us to do better and to help individuals with trauma and multiple disabilities. Um, but the problem is, I feel like there's not a whole lot of resources yet. Still, I mean, like people are talking about it, but I can't recall like a specific certified um, like alignment of coursework for behavior analysts to become trauma certified, or for um, just even like I know there's a lot of training out there for like 1 hour, 2 hour trainings on trauma, but I feel like it's almost needs to be like a very specific certification. Um, just so then we're much more aware and we're educated about how to address trauma in our practice. And my time's up.
Awesome. Yeah, I think that's really good. Leslie said hi. She's on watching us on Facebook Live. Thanks for joining us, Leslie.
Thank you, Leslie.
All right, let me get my timer going. Yeah, again, like you said, this is kind of a heavy topic to fit into just 2 minutes and 30 seconds, but we'll do our best.
Yeah.
So, for me, I agree with you around. So there are like trauma certifications that people can get, but they're not necessarily specific to behavior analysis. I know a few people who've done the various different options, but one of the things that came up at FABA, and I think part of the reason I put this on the wheel, was the discussion around how like what it seems to be a buzzword, and like everyone is talking about trauma right now. And it sounded like one of the people in our panel was basically asking like, where do you draw the line? And for me, it's like looking at what people are calling trauma informed care, and the way that they're practicing is like good practice. Like that's just what we should be doing as humans and how we engage with one another. So if we acted like everyone had trauma and approached our interactions and our interventions in that way, I don't see what the problem would be. And I think that right now, especially with the pandemic, like, how are you going to delineate that? Are you telling me there's any, like, I'm pretty sure everyone living through the pandemic right now is experiencing some level of trauma somewhere in their life. So again, why would we be trying to differentiate it? Now I understand, obviously, there's different significant events that can happen to people, and they have assessments and scales to account for that. And that may inform potentially the level of intensity or the types of people that would be providing interventions and things like that. But in general, how we practice as behavior analysts and provide agency and treat each person like they're their own independent human who deserves respect and like positive interactions and all of that kind of stuff. I think, we should just be doing that. I don't understand why that would be differentiated from anything else. So that's what came up for me when we had this sort of come up during the FABA presentation that we were doing. Again, that doesn't mean it's not to discount the various things that could happen to someone that would be traumatic. And I think you can do both. Like, you can have your general way of interacting that is just how humans should interact with one another and be like supportive and empathetic and compassionate, and have, people with expertise in working with folks who've experienced traumatic, life events. So that's my time. Again, 2 minutes and 30 seconds isn't really enough time to talk about this, but we haven't really had a whole lot of interaction on Facebook Live. And like I said, we have the meeting with me in like 5 minutes. So this is kind of a fast one tonight. We still haven't finalized for sure what time we'll be doing for the Wheel Decide Wednesday. I also haven't finalized our schedule for 2022 in terms of like what time we're doing things like the weekly meeting with me. So I'm hoping to work on that over this next week. This week we have, for the collective, in case anybody's wondering, on Saturday, Warner is going to be doing a presentation for us called Consent, but Make It Sexy. And that's a webinar from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. on Saturday. So super excited about that. Tuesday, we have our Reading to Action meeting at 7 p.m. Wednesday, we'll have the weekly meeting with me. And then Thursday, we have a mentorship session with Cami. So lots of stuff packed into 1 week again. That's our last events before the end of the year. So hopefully we'll see some of y'all at those events, and hopefully we'll see some of you in a couple minutes for our weekly meeting with me.
That sounds awesome. Super excited about your different events this week too.
Awesome. Thanks, Joe. All right. I'll see people in a few minutes.
All right.
Bye, everyone.